Okay, so now what we're going to do is look at the variable entered Karnaugh map with these don't cares. So in this column right here, I'm going to put option 1. And in this column right here, I'm going to put option 2 if the output is a don't care. And then here I'm going to put in the new function that's going to be combined with z. Now here it doesn't matter what z is, f's going to be a 0. Now here it matters. So here f could be a 0, 0, or it could be a 0, 1. So really the output could be a 0, which is this first column, or it could be z, comma z. So those are my two options now. Instead of having the option as 0 and 1, I have the option as 0 and z. This is the same thing. This is 0, comma z. Now here this could be a 0 and a 1, and this could be a 1 and a 1. So my options are, let's see, it matches z. This pair right here and this pair match z. So it could be a z or a 1. Okay, this matches z. This matches z. It's a z. And this matches z. Doesn't matter what z is, the output's always going to be a 1. Now here it's going to be a 1 and a 0, or a 1 and a 1. So it's going to be z bar, I'm going to put a tilde in front of the z to indicate a z bar, and a 1. Alright, so now I'm going to construct the variable entered Karnaugh map. What we've just done is a Karnaugh map of a Karnaugh map. We've done a one variable Karnaugh map. This is a Karnaugh map of a Karnaugh map. I'm collapsing y and z into f, so the four values of f are internal in here. That x is changed to a 0 and a 1. F, z, and y have been combined into a new f, and this is its value. So if we evaluate this Karnaugh map, if that's a 1, then it's y and z. If it's a 0, the whole thing's a 0. And here's my implicant, so it's z. If all four of these are 1s, then it's a 1. If this is a 0, then it's a not an OR gate. A not y, not z OR gate. This is the complicated one. Let's look at it from the point of view of just that 1. Well, if it's just that 1, then it's y and z. Now let's look at it from the point of view of all three of these. Then it's y or z. If we look at just this column, then it's z, and if we look at just this row, it's y. So the two variable entered Karnaugh map looks like this, and it's way too complicated to try to analyze. But in some cases, you don't have as many don't cares, and this thing can become very simple. Z is a 0. In cell 1, it's a 0, 7, or 0, z. In cell 2, it's 0, z. In cell 3, it's z, 1. Now, what do I need to pay attention to? Well, I've got to have a z right here. This is sum of products, so zeros I really don't have to pay attention to. So I have to pay attention to that z. This is an alternative of 0, so if I use it, fine. If I don't, fine. Both of these don't have zeros in them, so I've got to cover them. This one has a 0 as an alternative, so it doesn't matter whether I cover it or not. I can if I want or not. This gives me the flexibility, and I have to cover that 1. So the next step is to begin circling implicants that cover these green at a minimum, and then make the implicants as big as possible. Okay, so let's try to find the prime implicants here in our variable entered Karnaugh map. 1 appears to be right here. This is where W is a 1, and we're using a Z. So we're assuming a Z in the Z part of that 1 and the Z part of that 1, so that's WZ. Now, the next implicant is right here, these two. This is where W is a 1 and X is a 1. Right here. So the question is then, what hasn't been covered? Okay, the yellow was when W was a 1, didn't matter what X and Y. And we were covering the Z part. So we covered the Z part of that 1, so that left a Z bar uncovered. And we covered the Z part of that 1, that left a Z bar uncovered. So the green could be thought of as where W is a 1, and let's see, X is a 1. And then we can think of as either covering the 1 or the Z bar. If we cover the 1, which is redundant with the first implicate down here, prime implicate, but then if we tack a Z bar on here on the end of it, it really hasn't accomplished anything. We can just say WX and cover the 1 and do the exact same thing, and this is a much simpler, well, it's a fewer number of literals. So that's why it's just written as WX down right here. That's what we ended up with the 4x4. So everything's covered down here in this bottom row. The question is, what is left uncovered? And that's this one right here. We can't leave it a 0. We've got to cover it somehow. And so the question is, what are the ways we can cover it? Well, it looks like there's 3 different ways. Let's explore those. Okay, so the question is, how do we cover this cell right here? We can cover the Z or we can cover the 1. Let's try covering it by just going straight down. So that would be XY. That's right here. Let's try covering it by going, just covering the Z here, the Z part of that, the Z part of that, and the Z part of that. So let's try it by covering these two right here. So that's where X and Z. All right. I'm going to erase to see if we can get the last one. Okay, so our goal is to cover the third possible way. And let's see. Let's choose the Z here, the Z here, the Z part of that one, and the Z there. So that's what. Let's see, Y is the same. Doesn't matter about W, doesn't matter about X. Y is the same when we're covering Z, so that's this one. And we're done.